What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports Hardwood show for some Tuesday. What day is it? Wednesday? Wednesday night NBA action. We have a full 10-game slate, but more importantly, we have the two contenders here on this show for the last time before the matchup, the one-on-one game between TitleTown and BigT. Before we get into anything else that pertains to this NBA slate, Title, what are you doing to prepare yourself for this big matchup with the hottest man on the planet right now?
Yeah, nothing too different. I go to the gym most days, probably 3-4 times a week, get some shots in, get running, feel good, but nothing special. I mean, I can't find any guys at the gym that are 6'4", 270 or something. No, that's actually accurate from what he told me. So I mean, that's a hard body to replicate. So it's going to be different for sure, but hey, quickness, speed, athleticism, it'll get the job done. I can't wait.
All right. I will say I have a little inside information here. And I know, I mean, he's not going to talk about it himself, but I know Big T is at least leaving the office and on his feet. I don't know if he's running, walking, but he was outside today by himself. So just be prepared. Big T might be in better shape than you think. Big T, anything different that you want to disclose that you're doing to prepare for this one-on-one game?
I mean, the facts are I literally haven't touched the ball in 9 months. The Title's in the gym 3-4 days a week. I'm not in the gym. He's young. I'm old. But also the truth, I'm just better than him. So I'm going to win the game. It doesn't matter when we play. It's just the facts. Now he gets to meet Dad this week, and Daddy's going to show him what happens.
There's no calling Daddy for the rest of history. There's no Daddy involved. I'll tell you that.
We can add some side action if Big T beats you. You know, you got to at least call him Daddy through the weekend. Maybe.
Oh no. Then I better be thinking of something real good. 2 chip challenge for Big T if there's a loss or something.
That'll be fun. All right, now we haven't nailed down the time, date, or location, but it is going to happen. I mean, what are we thinking here for the time so that people know when to potentially tune in? I mean, are we thinking Friday?
We'll lock it down. The people will know way ahead of time. Could be. I mean, it's more than likely not going to be tomorrow, so it could be. I mean, logistically, anytime Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll give people plenty of time to know, though.
We got to sweat out the games. It is one of the best times of the year. I love watching it too. Big T, I know, loves it, so we'll navigate through. We'll let the people know. There will be.
I can't imagine
there's going to be a good crowd.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of people. I mean, I'm way more excited to watch that game than these shitty college basketball games that will be occurring over the course of the next 3 weeks. I mean, what an awful sport, collage basketball. I mean, just terrible.
What terrible mojo to be bringing into the weekend. I mean, we always talk about good mojo Title.
I'm just honest.
And then he comes in just spewing stuff like that. I mean, that's terrible.
Terrible product. Why would I want? It's a secondary product to the NBA, and there's going to be no fans. I'm assuming
there is going to be fans.
Some fans.
It's going to be like an hour and a half from us. Maybe we'll just dive down one day and go to a game. I mean,
have fun. I'll stay at Big T's and watch like the NBA or something else.
I will say, I got to disagree with this one. Mark, this was one of my favorite weekends of the year, the first 4 days. I mean, because seeing all the upsets and everything.
You're a winner. Winners enjoy the games. Hoop's going to want to go to the zoo or something. Can we go to the zoo?
I'd rather go to the zoo than watch college basketball.
Stop it.
It's just a bad product.
I forgot how bad
it's not good.
Man, oh God.
You got Bobby Gomes in chat agreeing with you.
They're just the kid. They're not good at basketball. I mean, I watch these guys. Well, okay, so for example, my father-in-law, big U of M fan, big. So he's into it all the time. He's watching all these games. I was at their house on Saturday, and Michigan's, I think, playing to get into the Big Ten championship against Ohio State. Michigan's down 1 with like 30 seconds to go. They have the ball. They're down 1 with 30 seconds. They hold the ball for the last shot. Not only is that bad coaching, that's bad execution, everything. They held the ball down 1 for the last shot. So stupid. Like, it's just not a good.
That's like your case against watching college basketball.
That's the only
saving for the last shot.
That's like the only play I've seen all season long. So that's like part of the reason it goes into it. It's just not a good product. I'm sorry, it's not good. Like, that pissed me off. I'd like DC. He'd rather be at the zoo as well. So I got some.
Sure
might have some partners.
DC is definitely a hand holder. Like, I could see him holding hands at the zoo for sure.
I'm talking about going to the zoo by myself.
Just by yourself? Not even for the ladies?
No.
Oh,
I'd walk around and check
by
out the
yourself?
tigers and
Oh.
lions, and I like checking out the snakes. So I'd much rather do that than watch any college sport, to be honest with you. Just a really bad product overall. But we obviously disagree. Title, maybe you're still young, Title. When I was your age, I was into college basketball. Maybe you get on the right side here down the road.
I don't know the right side. This will probably always be one of the favorite weekends of the year, but we'll see.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, you don't need a side. You watch this and then you go back to the NBA after the tournament's over. Like, you don't. It's basketball.
I got a zoo partner. Me and DC are going to the zoo together.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right,
in all fairness, though, if I got swatted by Al Smizzle in cargo shorts, I'd probably hate basketball too, and I'd be at the zoo.
all right. So what's the final stipulations of the game?
Titles made all the rules, so let him tell you.
20. Well, I mean, you agreed.
I said any rules. I said name the rules.
21 ones and twos, make it, take it, 3 dribble max. And then we got to figure out.
That's where you got to clarify, like the
Title. That's where you messed up, man. I was willing to put some money on you in this matchup, but the 3 dribble max, that was not a smart move.
The only clarification we need though is, like, say you take 3 dribbles, shoot, and then get the board. Like, you get reset, or what is it?
Yeah, we'll discuss that. We'll figure that one out. But no, the 3 dribble max. There's no way I wanted to play with more than 3 dribbles. I know you disagree. JSU disagrees. Big T. A lot of people agreed with my decision too, but trust me, 3 dribble max, you can get anywhere on the court in 3 dribbles from the top of the key.
But there's a defensive strategy to that, and if you can't knock down outside shots, you're probably drawn dead, to be honest with you.
I mean, yeah, then I wouldn't be playing him if I didn't think I could hit outside shots.
There it is. Fair enough. All right. I like
and
that.
I'm also not going to let Big T, when he's getting tired late in the game, taking 25 dribbles, backing me down. Because, yeah, of course he can get me after 20 dribbles down.
You literally have no idea the type of game I play either.
I know. Hey, you say you're a shooter. I say I'm a shooter. I'm excited to see who's the better shooter.
Do you guys need any sort of official or a third party to be there for any sort of?
I already told Title he better not be one of those dudes that just calls every little tic-tac foul.
No, I'm not. Yeah,
I know.
Call your own.
I know when I play, like I never call fouls. Like probably
no matter what.
So you guys got to kind of get on this. Got to be blatant.
Yeah, no, I mean, there won't be a lot of fouls called. I hope we both know how to play defense without fouling. If we get it, we call your own, but I don't expect that to be a problem.
Man, I
3
really
dribbles isn't going to lead to many fouls anyway.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see that eliminated. I think it would be a much more interesting game without the 3 fouls, but we'll see. I mean,
everybody's here. Hoop can just get winner. I mean, we can just let him get winner after all.
That wouldn't end well. I'll tell you one thing. That definitely would not end well for either of you. Hoop's in really good shape right now. The only thing working in your favor, I mean,
you guys are just getting me so excited.
I was playing 3 days. I was playing 3 days a week before COVID, and then the gym shut down the old.
I might totally rock the world and pick Title over Hoop and get action on that.
I
might totally just rock the boat.
There's no rocking.
You know better than that. I'm assuming. I'm assuming you know better than that. But see what
Riff says. I'll take Big T plus 200 at what?
Yeah, you're the DC's in here saying Title minus 200, which is a little more fair. It should be a little higher.
Well, who takes action on that? Like, you can't just throw lines
he's
out
looking.
and not take action.
DC wants action. I already got my even money action, and I actually might get some more. Dunkel was talking earlier.
Wow.
That's the rightfully favorite.
Eliminate the 3 dribbles, and I'll put money on Title.
See, that hurts me. What if he backed down 20 dribbles and just kept backing me down with
That's not his game. I know Tony's game.
Well, if he can score 3 dribbles, that's how it's gonna stay. Deal's already made. We both think it helps ourselves. I'm excited
about this. So it's gonna happen sometime between. I'm guessing either Friday or Saturday. Looking most likely to be Saturday. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted on Twitter and everything when this is gonna go ahead and take place. As always, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're going for that 500 number in terms of likes to give away the gear, and then 3-piece give away the gear, and then 3 plays. You get the 4X play of the day, you get the SO play of the day, and you get the patented workbench play of the day. So make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe. We also have a new promo going. I guess it's kind of the same promo, but it's a new name, Heater25. Heater25 at checkout gets you 25% off your first payment at Run Pure Sports. If you want to try us out for a weekly package, typically $20, you punch in that Heater25. You can try it out for a week for just $15. And if you don't like it after the week, you can say, all right, I'm out. But we think you guys are going to like it. The member, I mean, yeah, you see the big wins from Tony all over the place, but I'll tell you guys what, those members have been doing quite well. Tons of big wins in the Discord basically every single day. So head on over to Run Pure Sports, use that promo code Heater25. Let's hop into the slate.
The chat is just too good. I mean, we may never get to the slate.
Yeah, I don't care at this point with NBA. I mean, who gives a crap?
You guys are getting me excited for the weekend.
There's too many people in here stroking Big T. I just hope all you guys just make sure to watch. That's all I need to say. The game does itself. The game does the talking.
I'm starting to get excited about the secondary match too, because I think I want to get some title action versus Hoopster.
Get out of here! You're just saying that to piss me off. Like you don't. I know you don't truly believe that. You're not. You're just talking. When we get out there and you see me stroking the ball, you're gonna say, okay, I'm changing my mind on this one. All right.
The best part about this too, when we get that gym, we got enough people. Yeah, we're gonna play ones. We're gonna settle that, but we got time to play some threes, some fives. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait. Everyone, even Mangone missed that layup, cost me a game that's gonna haunt me forever. You better bring the shoes, Mangone, because we're lacing them up.
Everyone bring the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we could get some things going, but I mean, I'm going to tell you, anyone going against me is definitely not going to end well. I mean, great shape here. And
I can speak for everyone that we're pretty terrified.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. That's a good way to hop into the game. See, I instill fear. That's my goal. And apparently it's working. Tony's scared. Look how scared he is sipping that Propel.
The chat is ready, though. Big T's going to cook title. Correct, Nick Butler. I am.
Oh, Uncle T. I mean, Uncle T. Yeah, he's in there saying Uncle T versus Hoop in the corn pits. Yeah, I mean, we can do it, but it's not going to be at like 2 a.m. after I had 20 drinks like your brother got me. Like you and I are going first thing in the morning. I'm an early riser. We're going to get out there when these dudes are still sleeping. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm no drinking. I don't play knee houses anymore in cornhole after drinks. That is a new rule. So
I will say too, the guy hung this friggin' nice light on my backyard where we're gonna have full lighting at nighttime. So cornhole and hoop in the backyard is gonna be played. I'll say that much. Drunk, sober,
your neighbors are gonna hate us.
They're gonna hate us for sure. But the good thing is they already love me right now, so they may come over and drink. It's Kentucky.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So
still the $1 million celebration. That's all you got to tell them. Can't say no to that.
We'll pay them off.
We'll
We'll send some big T-bucks their way. All right. What do we got here? The Nets, Pacers, 230 total. Pacers favored by 1.5 in this game. And the big news, obviously, I mean, one of the biggest pieces of news on the slate, Kyrie Irving ruled out. So that immediately puts James Harden, I think, as the top stud on this slate. Pretty tough to fade too in this spot with basically nobody else on this team. After him, you're looking at Joe Harris, specifically on FanDuel. I mean, what's FanDuel doing, by the way, with the pricing on these guys? It's like it's just really, really bad. There's like zero effort in their pricing, and really sad to see. Joe Harris is 3.8K on FanDuel. Strong play over there. Still, I think he's still in play on DK at 4.7. You have Jeff Green. I think Jeff Green's a solid play. He should play a lot of minutes here. Probably, second, third best scorer on this team. TLC coming off the bench, 3.1K on DK. This Claxton guy, I know Tony was on him a little bit a couple weeks ago. He should not have an opportunity here. So a lot of different ways to go on the Nets side. On the Pacers side, Karis LeVert, still like, what is he, 4.4K or something on FanDuel, just an egregious price. I think you can play Sabonis over there if you want, but the main focus here for me is going to be this Nets side. Obviously Harden, phenomenal play, but Joe Harris, Jeff Green, and some of these guys that are priced really low in that 3K range also in play. Go to you first, Title. Thoughts here on this Nets Pacers game?
Yeah, so on FanDuel, like you said, brutal pricing. Karis LeVert's still 4,400.
Yeah,
it's hard to get away for that price. Not much more needs to be said. DeAndre Jordan's only 4,300 on FanDuel. He's one of the better center options on the slate if you want to punt, because you want to get up to stars like Well, Ben Simmons is in a good spot, Harden on both sides. So I like the idea of punting and going with DeAndre Jordan, who has big upside. Joe Harris, 3,800 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I like Jeff Green, like you said, a lot more than on FanDuel. He's 4,200. Same price on FanDuel, but you have to play, or two power forwards. There's some other ones I'd rather play. I like his price tag at small forward, power forward eligible. Joe Harris, 4,700, a little more expensive, but they're going to need his shooting. He gets a 3-point bonus on DraftKings, so I like him more over there usually. Nicholas Claxton is, I mean, I didn't know about him as much before Big T was on him. Now they're finally giving this guy minutes, and he is a stud. He is a very good basketball player. Rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. Him and Harden work very well in the pick and roll for the alley-oop. I like him a lot in tournaments at 3,500, and no one's going to play him. So very good tournament play. Going to the Pacers side, I don't love too many of them. You can go Brogdon at 7,200 or Miles Turner at 5,900. But there's other spots on the slate that I like more. So it's mainly going to just be the Nets guys, and I probably won't run it back. Except Levert on FanDuel, obviously, because that's price.
That's clearly the exception. Big T, what are you doing here in tournaments? I mean, James Harden obviously going to be one of the higher owned guys on the slate and definitely the highest owned stud. Is this a spot where you eat the chalk or maybe look for a pivot or potentially look to play two of these guys up top? Talk about Harden and the Nets and then anything you potentially like on the Pacers side.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough not to like Harden. You guys are right. I mean, when he's the only one in there, it's just very tough for him not to crush. It's just like the old days where he should be 13K and he's 11K. He's just, his floors, even if he has a bad game, I mean, what's he going to get you? In the 50s probably, unless it's just some random outcome where it's a total blowout or something weird. But he's going to crush. And the good thing is, I always say athletic bigs against Indiana, and you got two of them coming at you, DeAndre and Claxton. I mean, Claxton, he's another case of a guy. They are giving him minutes, like Title said, consistently 14 to like 18, which keeps his price cheap. If he ever catches a run one of these games, though, where he gets 25 somehow, he's going to get you 50 fantasy points. He's going to do what Moses Brown did the other night and just go completely off. Might not happen, but it's always in the outcomes, and he's so cheap. This is a perfect matchup for Claxton, like literally perfect, and he's going to be unowned. So I like him a ton. You can even play him with DeAndre. I don't do that a ton, but it ensures that you get all the big man minutes against Indiana for, what is that, 8,700 on DK. And I don't hate it because there's definitely a world where they both crush, and it could be today for sure against this Indiana team. And then the flip side, Indiana, I mean, Sabonis is in a very, very good spot against a team that doesn't really protect the rim all that well and doesn't defend the bigs all that well, especially guys like Sabonis. So Sabonis is going to be 3% owned, probably 2% owned, just like Randall the other night when I think it was us three on the show that night when I gave Randall as the workbench. Sabonis is kind of that same play tonight where he could get you in the 60s pretty easily tonight, unowned. And I like that a ton. What's Levert's price on FanDuel now? Still 4,400.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to like him going on FanDuel, at least going against his previous team. He has to have a little bit of feelings towards that. I mean, 26 and 29 minutes. I mean, he's going to be the chalk again, obviously, right? On FanDuel.
Yeah. He'll be the highest owned player probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to get around it. 4,400 against his old team. Is Brogdon still super cheap on FanDuel too? No, he's finally 7K.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Sabonis and Levert, and then, Brooklyn, Harden, and the two bigs.
Cool. All right, we'll keep it moving. 9 more games. Bucks, 76ers, 235 total. Milwaukee favored by 6 in this game. Obviously, no Joel Embiid for the 76ers. On the Bucks side, basically at full strength here. Drew Holiday still pretty cheap on FanDuel. Giannis, could go overlooked here with everyone just going to James Harden. Probably interesting tournament play here. On the 76ers side, Ben Simmons, good price on FanDuel, a little much higher on DK. I think Tobias Harris is still in play, also better price. All these guys pretty much have better prices on FanDuel. Gotten really lazy with their pricing over there. We'll go to you first, Big T. Obviously James Harden's going to have a ton of ownership. Giannis has been playing very well. Do you see any reason to maybe look to Giannis in tournaments, or does anything else stand out to you here in this game?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can. Giannis is that type of guy where we've talked about it all year. He gives you the floor, he gives you the ceiling, gives you everything Harden gives you. So you can definitely pivot to it. I mean, he went for 76 and 70 the last 2 games, both against Washington. I mean, I definitely think Harden is a better play without a doubt. I mean, he's safer, and the matchup's better. Everything's better, but doesn't mean you can't play Giannis. The problem I see is this is always – I circle back almost to PGA, like we talked about. With these studs, I feel like they always get owned. Like, we don't think they will. But, I mean, Harden's going to be higher, don't get me wrong. But, like, if Harden comes in 48% or 50% and Giannis is 27%, like, I'd rather just take the 50 from Harden, even though that's higher owned. I just think it's that much better of a play. And all you need is for Harden to outscore Giannis, and then the ownership is what it is. He still outscored him. So, yeah, Giannis is fine, but I'm going to play Harden for sure. Doubt I play Giannis, unless you play them both. I mean, if there's enough value to where you play them both. I probably won't go that route, but you could. I mean, they're both going to get you a huge floor, huge ceiling. And, I mean, the decision of the night for me, I guess, is Ben Simmons because, man, I just don't like him, man. 7,900 on FanDuel. He stared at me last night. Tonight, even more so. I just don't want to play him, though. I hate it. I hate playing Ben Simmons. I don't like it, but it is a good price on FanDuel, so maybe you can go there.
Yeah, the FanDuel price obviously much more appealing. Title, this is your squad, the Bucks. Kind of talk to me about this game here.
Yeah, all the prices, like you said, are better on FanDuel. Starting with Giannis, anytime he's not going to be popular, there's going to be a stud that's going to be way higher owned. I love him in tournaments. He gets a Joel Embiid-less 76er team. No one in the paint should be able to stop him. He's been absolutely dominating since the All-Star break, 120 total. So I love Giannis. I'm going to try and get him in my tournament lineups, but Harden's just in such a smash spot too. So if you can play both with the value, I really like that route. Otherwise, picking one, Harden's definitely the better play, but I'll mix in some Giannis with no Harden in tournaments. Drew Holiday, like you said, on FanDuel, he's 5.9K still. Point guard 2 isn't very good outside of Simmons today, so he's definitely consideration. I like Ben Simmons on FanDuel at 7.9K. The price is just too cheap for his upside without Joel Embiid, so definitely have interest over there. FanDuel or DraftKings at 8,900 though. That's a little too steep for me on this slate, so I'll avoid him. Dante DiVincenzo's 4.6K on FanDuel. He's been playing much better with Drew. Defenses don't key in on him as much. He's getting more open threes, knocking them down. So shooting guard, I'm fine with him over there. Tobias Harris, 7.8K on FanDuel at the 2 power forwards you have to play. I like that price tag. Bobby Portis, no one's going to play him at 4K on FanDuel. And he's blowout proof. He can get blowout run. And he also occasionally will close games if he's playing really well and Brook Lopez is sucking. Bobby's way better than Brook. 4K, he has massive upside at that price for very cheap. So I like him a lot as well.
Yeah, very good breakdown. Next one is a game with a monster total. Kings, Wizards, 247 total, just about as high as we've seen. Wizards favored by 2, and just 2 teams that really don't play any defense. They're just looking to score in the Kings and the Wizards. From a DFS perspective, a lot of plays here, a lot of guys to obviously consider. Halliburton is cheap on DK at 5.5K. I think he's in that conversation. Rashawn Holmes coming off the monster 50 fantasy point game. He played 41 minutes. Obviously would be a better play if Whiteside were to miss. Whiteside is currently listed as questionable. This is an early game though, so we will have the news on him. On the Wizards side, it's this, we talk about it every single time. Just got a little new, nothing important. All right. We talk about it every time with this Wizards team. It's really hard to trust anyone outside of Westbrook or Beal. No one's really stepping up and solidifying themselves as the number 3. Tonight, though, we have a nice little price discrepancy between the two. I think Beal, he's about $1,000 cheaper on DK, $1,100. That's going to make Beal a very popular play here at 9.3K with this massive total, a team total hovering around 125. I think it's a good situation where, I think Westbrook's a solid pivot off of Beal. And I think you're going to have the ability to play 2 studs, in your lineup, potentially 3. So I don't hate going to Westbrook in tournaments over Beal. Beal will have a good amount of ownership, I think, tonight. So Title will stick with you. Give me the breakdown here on this Kings-Wizards game.
Yeah, for the Wizards side, you couldn't have said it better. Westy and Beal are the only ones I have interest in because they have the ball in their hands so much. I mean, this total is massive at 247. So you don't see that every day. Definitely have a lot of interest in this game, but it's going to be one of them. Beal's going to be higher owned. I like the $1,100 price difference, but now that the ownership, I think, it's going to be pretty crazy difference where last slate, it was Beal and Westy didn't get too much ownership. Westy makes a lot of sense in tournaments as a pivot. I'll let Big T talk about that since I know he's definitely Westy over Beal. Going to the Sacramento side, Rashawn Holmes, 6,700. He's going to be popular again, power forward and center eligible, which helps on DK. Just coming off a monster game, easy matchup against the Wizards. A lot of interest there. Bjelica is only 3,700. His minutes haven't been there, but if you need a punt in a very good game environment, you could do worse than him. Barnes, Buddy Hield, the secondary piece, Halliburton, Fox. Those secondary pieces, I would only secondary for the prices. I'd only pick one because of how good this 10-game slate is, but the game total at 247 is just massive. So I want some pieces, but Holmes my favorite, and then Beal or Westbrook.
Yeah, Big T, what are your thoughts here on this massive total? I mean, 247 is about as big as we've seen all season long. Give me your breakdown here.
Yeah, I mean, I love how Title went with the JT pronunciation of Bjelica or whatever he said.
Bjelica?
I mean, that was some good stuff. I mean,
Bielitsa, Bjelica,
Yeah.
Bielitsa, yeah.
Oh, you got to
Bielitsa.
stick with it. Like,
Yeah, now it's Bjelica. Once a name is mispronounced on the show, that's the new. That's how we pronounce it. So.
It's fun. They get in there and doing that, but no. So first of all, Westbrook and Beal. I know we harped on it, and we do these shows so much that sometimes I feel like we say the same things, and it feels like we're not giving the info, but it's just the truth. And we play every day, so it's how I feel. Like I'm never gonna play Beal over Westbrook. I could play both of them in a massive total like this. Definitely could play both of them. But I'm never, ever, ever playing Beal. Westbrook is so much safer and more upside, in my opinion. So I love these slates like this where all the like projection people will play Beal over him for 1,100 because the 1,100 just doesn't bother me at all. I mean, Westbrook, God, he's got his legs back. I mean, 80 and 59 the last two games. He's just – I could never – I'll just leave it at that. I could never play Beal over Westbrook. Both good plays, though, if you play them together.
If you guys haven't heard yet, Westbrook got his legs back. Big T's been talking about this for a month. Every time Westbrook's on.
He goes for 80 every night. Tonight, you'll have Beal and I'll have Westbrook, and we'll –
I'm just saying. Hey, I was just pointing out.
Play Westbrook, and we'll go with it. That's fine. I know you're going to play Beal is the best part, and I'm going to play Westbrook, so that's fine.
You're probably spot on.
I know, and Westbrook's going to outscore him by like.
And that's why I said. I said a great tournament pivot. Beal's going to be highly owned.
It shouldn't even be a tournament pivot though, because he's just a better play.
Well,
I will say last time we argued this on the show, Beal did perform better point per dollar than Westy. So
there you go.
Right now we're 0 for 1 on this talk. We'll see today.
Where? Like, what game was that?
Last game when it was 55 and 51. It was $1,100 difference.
55 and 51. That's your victory lap. 55 and 51.
It's $1,100.
Right
I'll
now.
take the 4 point.
So Westbrook went for 59 and 59 to 51 on DK.
Oh, I was looking at FanDuel, but
okay, but beside the point.
So close.
We can line it up every time. I'll take Westbrook. You can have the whatever 1,100 savings, and I'll take my chances. I'll just leave it at that. Sacramento side, I mean, Holmes, man, with Bagley out, I don't know how you don't play Holmes. I mean, going against Washington, he's gone for 57, 40, 39, 38. He's still too cheap. I don't know how he played 40 minutes. If he plays 40 minutes tonight, there's just no way he doesn't crush. It's like impossible for him not to crush. So love him, love Halliburton. I mean, the games that whatever you said, a 247 total or whatever the freaking total was. Mm-hmm. These guys are going to crush if the game stays close. It's that simple. Everyone's in play. Holmes would be my favorite, though. Fox, I'm a little down on Fox, I guess, just because of the price. I mean, I'd rather play the Washington guys than Fox. I mean, how much more is Beal than Fox? Same price?
$100.
Price?
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, like I'd rather play both of the Washington guys over Fox just because they got more guys. I mean, Barnes, Buddy, Halliburton, all those guys are going to eat up a little bit of usage. Washington doesn't have that as much. So I'd rather go the studs for Washington, cheaper guys, mid-range guys, I should say, for Sacramento. I think Bielisa or Bjelica is a good play too at 3,700. He's cheap. Massive total. He's good in games where he doesn't have to guard anybody. He doesn't have to guard anybody in this game. So I like him in games like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. You can get exposure to the Kings.
Oh, Don Geese is coming now. Beal sucks. Come on, Don Geese. I love Beal. First of all, I'll clarify this too, because I like to do it. If I had to start a team, I'm taking Beal 1,000 times over 1,000 over Westbrook. 1,000 over 1,000. I like Beal infinitely more than Westbrook. But DFS wise, which is what we're doing a show about, I'll take Westbrook every time. It's that simple.
I will say I am disappointed in myself for not pronouncing Bielitsa's name right, because I've only seen it 1,000 times and I read the name Bajel and it just says Bjelica. So hey, Bjelica from now on, I guess.
JT stick with it. We got Lillard, we got Vucevic, and
Harrow.
Bjelica.
Harrow,
Tyler
Harrow, and Felix. The list is growing. The list is growing. Gotta love our boy JT.
JT next needs to come this week. I sent him a message and see if he can get in there too.
Yeah, he's a traveling man. He can just swing in on one of his mysterious trips. You know,
he might already have like a safe house here. He might have like one in the neighborhood. Or like, where are you staying, JT? He just drives down the other side of the street and pulls in one of the houses.
I never know with JT. Never know. MLB's right around the corner. We got the promo going. Heater 25, making a lot of changes to our MLB product this year. We think you guys are going to absolutely love it. I think we're 2 weeks out, maybe 2 weeks from tomorrow. So it's a good time to sign up. And as I always say, I mean, our packages at Run Pure Sport include everything on the website. I'm sure you're already getting emails from other sites saying, oh, baseball's coming back. Now you got to pay $250, $300. You know, all these sports pop up. It's more money. Not at Run Pure Sports. One price for absolutely everything on the site. We have the promo code HEATER25 right now. Plug that in. You get 25% off your first payment at Run Pure Sports. So come on over, give it a try. It's a good time with MLB right around the corner. All right, we have the Raptors and the Pistons, 217.5 total. Toronto is favored by 5 in this game, and a lot of uncertainty in this one. The Raptors have, let's see, about five dudes listed as questionable. OG is out. McCaw is questionable. Van Fleet's questionable. Siakam's questionable. Flynn's questionable. So, yeah, 5-6 guys there. And then on the Pistons side, Wayne Ellington is doubtful. Rodney McGruder is also doubtful. It's a tough game to break down with all this pending news. On the Raptors side, the prices have adjusted. So even if these guys are out, I'm not going to really have a ton of interest. So this is a spot I'm just kind of avoiding, probably regardless of the news. On the Pistons side, kind of big though. I mean, with those with McGruder and Wayne Ellington out, I guess Dennis Smith Jr. is questionable. So if all three of those guys are out, you want to take a look at some Pistons. For me specifically, it would be Josh Jackson and potentially DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright's been, putting up decent numbers fantasy-wise. So those would be the two I would look at. And as it stands right now, those are the only two guys in this game that I'm really considering. I guess maybe you can throw Jeremy Grant into the conversation. More so on FanDuel, where you have to play two power forwards. Title, what are your thoughts here in this game?
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. I mean, 10-game slate. We already talked about a lot of spots we like with higher totals. This is the second lowest total on the slate, 217. If all the Toronto guys but one is ruled out, maybe you have some interest there, but the prices are kind of right. Like you said, Josh Jackson, DeLon Wright is a one-off last piece if you want it, but it's probably going to be a game I just fade.
BigT.
Yeah, it looks like a fade to me. I mean, maybe if some news comes in. I mean, again, it's an early game, so it's kind of nice having 4 early games so we get that much news before the slate even starts. So I don't know. If some news breaks, maybe I can get on something. But for now, I like those other plays a lot better than this one.
Yep, 10-game slate. And that's one thing we always talk about here. You don't have to get exposure to every single game on these bigger slates. It's okay just to forget about one and move on. And as it stands now, it's kind of where we're at here, and that could obviously change with some potential news like title set. If all those guys on the Raptors are ruled out, maybe you circle back and take a look. But right now, a lot of uncertainty around this one. Also, good reason to be a member at Run Pure Sports. You get access to the final countdown with JSU. And is Holden back yet? Is Holden back in the saddle?
Back tonight, yeah.
Yeah, so Holden will be back in the saddle tonight. So JSU and Holden taking you all the way up to lock for that final countdown show where they break down all the news and notes of the slate, and that's part of the premium product at Run Pure Sports. Next game, Celtics, Cavs, and we do have some injury news in this one. The total's 212.5, so low total. Boston favored by 8. But we get the news, Kemba Walker ruled out. Tristan Thompson also ruled out on the Cavs side. No Taurean Prince and no Kevin Love. Relatively significant news. I mean, on the Boston side, all those guys kind of get a little boost. Brown, Tatum, Daniel Tice. I really like Tice tonight. Marcus Smart, the minutes are starting to tick up a little bit. So I think these guys are in the conversation. My favorite's probably Jaylen Brown. He has, I think, a reasonable price tag. And then obviously Daniel Tice, too, I like quite a bit. On the Cavs side, Larry Nance, 38 minutes last time out, had a really big game, 34 fantasy points, only 4.7K on DK. I like him. He's a guy that if he gets minutes, he will find a way most nights to get value. And at 4.7K, it's not going to take much for him to get there. So I really like Nance, Jaylen Brown, Tice, probably my 3 favorites in this game. But I think there's other ways you can go as well. Big T, what are your thoughts in this Celtics-Cavs game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting, sneaky little spot where, man, all of a sudden, so for like the last 2 years, we've talked about Time Lord, Robert Williams being a stud, and all of a sudden he starts getting just a little bit more run, not even crazy run, and he's just like totally smashing. I mean, he's still only playing 16, 19, 21, 23, 21, not even crazy minutes, and he's got some really good games in there. His price is up now. So, I mean, tonight's probably not the night for him, but it just shows you some of these guys, like, I don't know why they don't get more run. And he was one of them all along, just a total freak athlete that just makes things happen on the court. I still don't know why you would play a guy like Thies over him. It doesn't make sense. But Thies, to circle onto him, is 4,100 now. Robert Williams is 5,600. So, DFS-wise, that means Thies has to be in play. He's got, what did he go? He went for 39 and 33, 2 of the last 3 games. He's got a pretty good matchup, too, versus Cleveland that likes to play some bigs. It's a tough fade. I mean, he looks good at that price point. Marcus Smart could even pop up a little bit. What are his minutes looking like since he's been back? Only 24, but maybe trending upward just a hair. Probably not him, but, I mean, maybe if you wanted to stack the game or something. And then the Cleveland side, I mean, Nance played, it wasn't last 38. Night, was it?
Yeah, 38 minutes.
Night. He's good. He's not, as long as we don't get any news where he's like limited on a back-to-back. The dude played 38 minutes last night. If he plays 38 minutes tonight, it's a guaranteed crusher. Like, no way he doesn't against Boston. And I think you have to consider him. He's just too cheap at that price point. So for me, yeah, it's more the bigs. I have a hard time playing Tatum and Brown. They're probably okay, but if I spend, I just want to spend it on those high total games that those studs I just feel safer about. I think these guys do good. Like, I think Jaylen gets you 40, but is that enough? Kind of the conversation we've been having lately.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then another guy I wanted to bring up was JaVale McGee. Played 21 minutes last night, 33 fantasy points. Like, if he plays into the 20s, he is not going to hurt you. If he gets 20 minutes on the court, he is going to find a way to probably get to value almost, I mean, with certainty, and he has the upside as well. So I like McGee at 3.2K as well. Title thoughts here on this Celtics Cavs game.
Yeah, Cavs side, you said it. JaVale and Nance are the only plays for me, just because they're cheap. A lot of minutes for Nance, 3.2K for JaVale, min price on FanDuel. So that's where I'll get my Cleveland exposure. As far as Boston, you guys hit on Daniel Thies. He's just too cheap for his role without Tristan Thompson, showing a little bit of upside for that price too. So I like him. Jaylen Brown, 7.3K on FanDuel, 7.7 on DK. I slightly prefer him on FanDuel where you have to play 2 small forwards. He came off a really big game yesterday, so I expect his ownership game log watchers to be going there a little bit. Robert Williams, Time Lord, like we've been saying, 5,600 on both sites. He's absolutely a GPP play without Tristan Thompson. His minutes, 20 minutes, he absolutely can smash. If he somehow gets over like to the 25 minutes range, running good, close game, they need him, he can break the slate. He is very good. So I like that pivot from Daniel Thiessen tournaments. Other than that, though, it's mainly the cheaper guys.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. The Boston Stars, I mean, overall this season have been somewhat of a disappointment. I mean, they're not flashing the upside that they showed last season. And I think honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with these rotations that Brad Stevens rolling out. They just don't make much sense. I think there's some of their secondary players suck. Like why are some of these guys playing similar minutes to Time Lord? Like it just doesn't add up. Like so these guys, some of these dudes are scrubs. I don't know. Like I thought Stevens was a good coach, but he's made some poor decisions. All right, next game. Just actually got some news for the Warriors. Rockets 230 total. Golden State favored by 12 in this game. I mean, they're playing this dead Rockets team. I mean, this is just a pathetic squad. Besides Kevin Porter Jr., who's actually looks really damn good. But Wiseman ruled out and Eric Pascal ruled out as well with the old health protocol thing. So both those guys are going to be out tonight. Obviously, a boost to some of these guys like Draymond Green would get a boost. I think Andrew Wiggins, Oubre. Kent Bazemore potentially would get some more run. Jordan Poole could get some nice run. I think this is a team to definitely look to in GPPs because they're going against this Rockets team that's giving very minimal effort. On the Rockets side, let's see, who do we have out here? Obviously no John Wall. Oladipo is going to sit. Macklemore's questionable. But Christian Wood is expected back with some sort of minutes limitation. Daniel House questionable. So we obviously need more news here in terms of who's going to be in, who's going to be out. But Christian Wood coming back really puts a damper, I think, on some of these value plays. His usage rate was very high. Would like to get more information in terms of the minutes that he's going to see tonight. But I'll go to you first, Title. Your thoughts here on this Warriors-Rockets game.
Yeah, Kevin Porter, obviously, he's the best play on this game. Both sites, he's going to have a lot of ownership. This guy he's a very good basketball player, very fun to watch, and a very fun DFS player because he's one of those young guys that doesn't lack confidence too. So I don't know what they're doing with this price. DK, he went down 200 to 6,800. He only went up 300 to 6,300 on FanDuel. Going to be very popular, but I think it's good chalk. Sterling Brown on Houston. I'm going to target more so the guards with Christian Wood back because I still don't mind Tate at 5,000 on FanDuel, but with Christian Wood in the front court, I am worried about Tate's rebounds going down. Anytime Wood's on the court, he's going to have a really high usage rate. Had one before, and now he doesn't have Wall or Oladipo. So I expect him to take a lot of the shots, which is a bump down to these secondary pieces, but Sterling Brown or a Kenyon Martin on FanDuel. I would only limit myself to one Houston Rocket outside of Porter, though, because of that. And then on the Warriors, now they become a lot more attractive with the news. So Andrew Wiggins is only 5,700 on DraftKings. Draymond 6,600 in a game against Houston where it'll be up and down the court, turnovers that he can excel in this type of game. So I like him a lot. Kelly Oubre, Jordan Poole, you mentioned, is only 3,500 on DraftKings. I expect him to be one of the lower owned value plays, and he's seeing about 20 minutes before these injuries. I expect that to tick up a little bit. Good shooter for the 3-point bonus. So I like him as low owned, cheap play. Steph at 9,800. If this game stays close, I can see Steph absolutely dominating. Maybe a little Kevin Porter's been doing very good. Young kid. Steph wants to show him up. I like that price anytime it's below 10K. 9,400 on FanDuel too. It's a very good game environment to target. Both sides have injuries, so I have a lot of interest in this game.
Yeah, I agree. Big T, seems like this is a good game here for tournaments. A lot of pieces, I think, on the Warriors that could come up for big games, and even on the Rockets as well. So give me the breakdown here of this Warriors-Rockets game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be on a little bit different direction than you guys as far as I like the cheap pieces from Golden State. Like maybe this game, they use it to get these guys some extra run. Some of the guys that they have been given anyways, like Poole, Nico Mannion, Toscana Anderson, those guys all 3,500 or cheaper. And Houston is just terrible. Like, I could see this game blowing out and getting these dudes some easy run too. Like Nico Mannion at min price at 3K, unowned. These are the type of cheap plays I like, that if this game gets out of hand and he plays the whole fourth quarter, man, he could crush at 3K, like totally crush. Maybe Toscana Anderson, it might even be a slightly better play too, just because of the forwards that are going to be out. Big guys are going to be. I like the cheap guys for sure. I can't play Steph on this slate. Yeah, I agree completely. If the game does stay close, he's going to crush. But like we always say, you got to take stands. I'm going to go with the stand that this game is definitely going to blow out, which takes me off the good guys and on the cheap guys, all those cheap guys. And then the Houston side, man, Kevin Porter is a tough fade, but I think I'm going to do it tonight. I think I'm going to get off that and just hope Golden State just destroys this team. It's probably, I mean, I think he's super safe for cash. Like, I think he gets you the normal 35, 38, which is fine. Again, like nothing wrong with it at all. I'm just going to take my chance at the chalk bust a little bit and play another guy in that range, one of the Sacramento guys or someone else in that range. Just going to take, I mean, I'm more than likely going to fade him. It is a tough fade though, without a doubt, because he gets all the freaking usage, just so much usage. And he's going to play a ton of minutes no matter what almost. So tough fade, but I think I'm going to do it just in tournaments. I think it makes sense. He's due for a little bit of a stinker too. He's been so good that I don't know. It's more of a field play, but that's kind of what I do. And I'm going to take my chances.
Yep. Don't hate that. Don't hate that. I could definitely see this game blown out. I mean, this Rockets team, I mean, not only do they suck, but they're playing like really uninspired basketball, and you can just see it. All right, let's see. Next game up, we have the Spurs. We have the Bulls, 223.5 total. Chicago favored by 1.5 in this game. On the Spurs side, they'll continue to be without LaMarcus Aldridge. They'll continue to be without DeMar DeRozan. On the Bulls side, pretty much back to full strength. Satoransky, I believe, will continue to start, and he's still only 3.8K on DK. Very, very strong play over there. But for the rest of the Bulls team, though, there's too many guys for me to really trust anyone outside of Satoransky. On the Spurs side, kind of the same. Like, I like DeJounte Murray. I think he has upside in this game that should remain close. I mean, 1.5 point spread. Played 33 minutes last time out, 42 fantasy points. He's capable of going off and having some big games. Derek White, Lonnie Walker, Keldon Johnson. They got Gay, Vest. They just still have a lot of bodies. We talked about it last time out. I think there's a lot of risk to really invest in any of these guys outside of DeJounte. So I like DeJounte Murray. I like Satoransky, and that's probably about it for me in this game. Big T, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I just keep going on the same tangent about this Spurs team. And like I said earlier on the show, it feels like we say the same stuff. Hoop makes fun of me when I say the same things over and over. It's because I just feel like we do the same thing. Man, I feel differently about DeJounte. I just don't see the upside with him. But, man, they just have so many dudes. And I just hate the Spurs. Like, they're my least favorite team. Popovich just randomly just plays every dude on the roster, and I just don't want to pay $7,500 for DeJounte. I mean, he could get me 40, but man, I just hate the Spurs. I like fading them. Then I don't even have to worry about it. Obviously it's a good spot against the Bulls. If some of these guys get extended run, they'll crush. I wish DeJounte would just be locked into the big minutes because he would always crush. He's a beast. I wish he didn't play for the Spurs. Play for a team that'll run him out there 40 minutes, and the dude will get 50 fantasy points every night. He's a stud. The Bulls side, I mean, you look up and down. Levine is finally starting to get a little bit cheaper where, man, he was up close to 10K for a minute where we just couldn't play him. Once he starts getting closer to that 8K mark, I think he becomes a pretty good play again. He's at least under 9. I think you can at least put him in play. I mean, he just went for 53, 8,800, 8,900. I think that's okay. Satoransky, I agree. Like, I kind of made fun of him yesterday, and then he made me pay. Went for 31. And, I mean, he's fine. He's 38, 39. I need some cheap guys with the studs. I don't mind him. I think he's a good, safe play. The rest of Chicago, though, I think I'm off. So I agree with you guys. Satoransky for the Bulls. I can't play a Spurs guy.
Yeah. Title thoughts here in this game, Spurs Bulls.
Yeah, for the Bulls, Sato, he's going to be one of the most popular plays. Very safe with his minutes. Pricing hasn't changed much. Lauri Markkanen's 5.8K on both sites. With the new starting lineup, they're rolling him out at the 5, so he's getting more rebounds. He's spreading the floor against big men using his 3-point. He's a good 3-point shooter, shooting them. So I don't mind him at 5,800. Expect him to be pretty low owned in this game.
K. Fallick's back with his Spurs. He loves
the Spurs. With his
send us your spreadsheet. Send us your updated Spurs rotation minutes.
Yeah, I was laughing
He's
at
back
that.
With the final 6 with the blowout. It tilts him so hard.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I like DeJounte at 75. I like him in cash on both sites. He's not a must play or anything, but the price is right. I'm gonna trust Fallick's charts. I mean, hey, Fallick's been on fire too. We have he's not a screenshot.
Not even the point of like what he's saying that makes it funny. It's just how tilted he gets when he puts those charts in, and he just wants his point across so bad.
We love you, Fallick. Yeah. Jakob Poeltl is one of my favorite tournament plays in this game. 5,900 on FanDuel or on DraftKings, 5,600 on FanDuel. I don't expect him to be very high owned because he takes up a center spot, but Lauri Markkanen can't guard him in the post on the other side. And I expect him to have his way. If he gets 30 plus minutes, which we've seen, his minutes have been down a little bit, but as Fallick's saying, they've been blowing him out. They're getting less run. Hopefully that's the case. If he gets 30 minutes in this spot, he can absolutely drop a 45 burger. So he's my favorite Spurs in tournaments. And then DeJounte's the safer one, but I'm going to stick really with Sato, DeJounte, Poeltl, and then Markkanen mixing in tourneys.
I like the Poeltl call a little bit.
Yeah.
I like playing bigs against the Bulls. He fits the mold of what I would like. I do get worried about the minutes with all Spurs, but I like the call.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I do like Poeltl. I almost mentioned him, but I left it to you. He's shown some upside, man, and he really has. If he gets minutes, he'll get out there, and he can do it in a variety of ways. So I do agree with that call. Slacking a little bit on the likes here, guys. Big T. I mean, I know it's probably going to be hurtful for you to hear this, but over 700 watch him. We're only at 266. Any words of motivation?
I mean, last week we had over 500 every day, and this week we're just pootering to the finish line. We can't. I mean, we're not even sniffing 500. So, I mean, we got to at least get 400 though. I mean, we can't be doing gear for less than 400.
Yep. So there it is, 400 for the likes to get the gear and the plays of the day. So it's very simple. I mean, there's 715 in here. If you haven't done it yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And like I always say, it helps us to continue to bring you guys these shows for free. So do us that favor. Helps us out a bunch. Next game, we have the Hornets. We have the Nuggets. 229 total. Denver favored by 6.5 in this game. And this is a tough one for me. I mean, I could, if this game stays close, I could definitely see a few guys here having some big games. But I don't think the ownership's going to be all that high. I think for tournaments, maybe this is maybe it's an appealing spot here. Cash games, I don't think there's many targets. Obviously, you can always play Jokic if you want, but with Harden in his situation, it's really hard to go to Harden over Jokic. Paul Millsap back kind of complicates things a little bit. I believe is JaMychal Green fully back. He played last game 17, 18 minutes. So that kind of starts to take away from those other guys. I don't know. This is a game I'm probably off of in all formats, to be honest with you. If I can get a second stud in there with Harden, I'd love to go to Jokic, but we also have Giannis too. So it makes it very difficult on this slate. We'll stick with you, Big T. Thoughts here on this Hornets Nuggets game?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I've been trying to get better with just playing the easy studs, and just that kind of tonight takes Jokic out of play a little bit. I love Jokic. I think he could get you 65 tonight easily. I think he's safe. I think he's good. But do I really like him more than Harden and Westbrook and Beal and Giannis even and all these early guys? I probably don't. So I don't want to spread myself too thin. I do love him. I mean, if you love a Jokic tonight, play him. I'm definitely not going to talk you out of playing Jokic. But kind of like the Giannis point, do I trust that Jokic can outscore Harden and another guy? I probably don't. I mean, I think he could. It's definitely in the outcomes. I mean, I love Jokic. Again, I want it to be clear that I'm not saying to just fade Jokic if you like him. But I'm probably going to choose Harden and Westbrook and Beal and Giannis over him tonight, which makes him a fade. And I hate that because I love him, but it's just the way it is tonight.
Yeah. Title, anything different?
Yeah, we like so much of the other games. We can't play everyone. I'm not gonna have anyone in this game unless some crazy news breaks.
Yeah,
it is one of those nights too where like there's a ton of really good early games and the late games. I know everybody makes the joke BigT 777, but nights like this, I really don't know a way to get around it. I can't help myself. The early games are just so much better.
Yeah. I mean, 247 total. You're not seeing that in the late game, 242 and stuff. It's hard to avoid today.
Yeah. Next game is another one that's not very appealing. Heat, Grizzlies. And Heat are kind of a team that they've turned into, when their games are on the slate, you kind of look to avoid them at all costs, especially with Bam back. But now we have Jimmy Butler listed as questionable in this game, and that could be relatively big. The total's 219.5. Memphis is favored by 2. The issue with Jimmy Butler here is the point that Big T just brought up. If you want to wait on this Jimmy Butler news to see what you're going to do with your lineups, you might get screwed because the options early on are just so much better if Butler does play and you're forced to play some of these guys in the later games. So I am just kind of pretending like that Jimmy Butler news never popped. I'm going to assume that Jimmy Butler and Bam play and build my lineups that way. Memphis Grizzlies, I have zero interest in anyone on the Grizzlies team. I think the Grizzlies are the easiest fade on the slate. Title, what are your thoughts for this Heat Grizzlies game?
Only guy you can make a case for is Tyler here on DraftKings at 5.3K. You have the hidden upside. If Jimmy Butler does miss, he becomes a good play and you already have him in your lineup. Otherwise, you're buying in on Tyler Hero is a very, very talented basketball player. He's more than a 5.3K player. So you're buying in on that at very low ownership. But other than that, easy fade.
Big T, anything stand out to you in this game?
No, easy fade.
Yeah. What if Butler sits?
I mean, I still don't like. I mean, Hero's price looks good, but I mean, the problem is I always like to give plays that I know I'm going to play, and I just know that I'm not going to wait on news. If you guaranteed me he'd be out, I would for sure play Hero for sure if you knew it because he is cheap. It is a good boost, but I don't think there's any way we get that news before lock. If we do though, Hero will definitely be in play for me.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with you. And then even Kendrick Nunn's cheap too. I think you could look at him, but like I said, I am going, unless something changes before lock, I'm building my teams based around the fact that Butler's going to be in and Bam's going to be in, and just makes it easier that way. You don't want to complicate things, especially with what we've all said, those early games are so damn appealing. I don't want to miss out on some of those really good early plays because I'm going to wait to see if Jimmy Butler's in or not. To me, it's not justifiable on this slate.
You just don't need to do it. It's one of those things that, I mean, if it falls perfect, maybe it leads to a big takedown or something or whatever, but it just take the plays we know are good plays.
Yep, and there's a lot of them. I mean, it's a 10-game slate with a lot of good plays. So,
like Halliburton versus Hero, I have a hard time not playing Halliburton and just locking him in there in that price.
He's on a minutes limit though. The coach said
30 to 32.
Yeah, that's just Luke Walton's a freaking moron. What does that even mean? Why say someone's on a minute limits and say 30 to 32 minutes? Like that's like the most he's good.
Like he'll probably play 35 with Walton. Like
I didn't even see that quote.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Like, it's so stupid. Like to me, like what's the most he's going to play anyway in a neutral game? 34 minutes, right? In a game that stays close and is competitive between the Kings and the Wizards. He has no injury history. He's probably going to play 34, 35 minutes. What the F is the difference between 32 and 34 and 35 in terms of his recovery on the court? Like Luke Walton is, God, I hate that guy. He's such a moron. But in that game, Whiteside is available on a minutes limit too. So who knows? Maybe his minute limit's like 35.
You never know with Walton. Like
oh gosh, I hate that guy.
He's been the most tilting over the last 3 years for sure. Like over anybody.
Far.
Even over Pop for you?
The stuff he does, like he'll just randomly just literally not play guys. He'll just sit them where, I mean, at least Pop, like he'll play them all 20 minutes or whatever. Pop's just different. Pop,
they both suck. Or for DFS, they both suck. Pop's great in real life. Yeah.
All right, last game on the slate here. We have the Clippers. We have the Mavericks. 226.5 total. Clippers favored by 2 in this game. And some news we're waiting on here. I guess it's pretty important on the Clippers side. Serge Ibaka, whether or not he plays, he's questionable. I have no lean whether or not he's in. If he's out, Zubac started and played really well last game and got a lot of minutes. I mean, the minutes are always the big question mark with him. He played almost 35 minutes, and if Ibaka's out, I'd have a lot of interest in Zubac. Marcus Morris inserted in the starting lineup. He's going to continue to be in that role. 31 minutes, 30 fantasy points. But these plays all hinge on whether or not Ibaka's in or out. I will say Paul George and Kawhi Leonard continue to have pretty nice price tags, especially on DK. Kawhi Leonard, 8.7K. I think that's a very nice price tag for him. 50 fantasy points last time out in this matchup. This game stays close. I think, he's a virtual lock to be in that 45 to 45 fantasy point range. And at 8.7, that's good enough for me. Might not be good enough for Big T. He's trending towards the Eric Crane approach at 37X. On the Mavericks side, kind of the same for me. I mean, it's Luka or nothing. I'm not playing Luka on DK. I think every other stud on the slate more. James Harden, Giannis, Jokic. So, Luka's probably going to be a fade for me on DK. I think he's a little more in play on FanDuel at 10.2K, where you have to play the two point guards. But, my stance for a while with this Mavericks team has been Luka or nothing, and I'm just not playing any of these other guys, and there's just no consistency in their play, so it makes it kind of easy. Like I said, on the Clippers side, we need this news on Ibaka. We're not going to get it. It's the last game on the slate. So, Big T, throw it to you. What are your thoughts here, the Clippers-Mavs game?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for me to play the guys. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the holes I've plugged, actually, in my tournaments is – play like a guy like Kawhi. Yeah, he can get you like 45, 50, but man, at 8,700 even, I just want that upside because I can just pay a little bit more. Even Beal as the example for a little bit more. I don't know. I have a hard time doing it. I do. I think it's a hole I've plugged, and I actually feel good about it where if I play a dude 87 to 9K range, I want to at least feel like they can get me 60. And I don't feel that way with Kawhi. So I just can't do it. It helps, too, that it's the late game versus Dallas, the Clippers. Sometimes these dudes randomly sit. It's just a game I'm going to fade and play the early games.
Yeah. Title, anything stand out to you in this one?
Dallas, it would just be Luka on FanDuel, like you said. Point guard is not the best today. If you need it, that's fine. Marcus Morris, he's going to be inserted the starting lineup from here on out. It sounds like 3,700 on FanDuel, 4,100 on DraftKings. His price is cheap, and he's going to get about 30 minutes, I think, starting. If the game stays close, I don't mind Marcus Morris for that price. He shoots the ball well, grabs some rebounds, so I like that. And then if I had to pick one of Kawhi and Paul George, I was on Kawhi last time in this matchup. I still like the price at 8,700, but the slate, it's a different slate. There's more games, more stars on it. And the thing I will say, Kawhi last game, he had like 13 FanDuel points in the first half and then absolutely just went bonkers in the second half. So he does have upside if he can get it, but he also had 40 minutes too, which you don't see all the time. So he has upside at 8,700, I think. But you have to plug him in and do it for the rest of the night because you're not going to be swapping with the last game. It's going to be one I don't have much interest in, though.
Yeah, I agree. It's just hard.
Eric Johnson too in chat, like Eric Johnson. You guys drunk, fading Luka. The good part about DFS, Eric Johnson, you can have your own opinion and play whoever you want. Like that's the fun part about it. I'll play Harden and Westbrook, and you can play Luka, and I'll take my chances.
There's so many stars on this slate. Jokic, Beal, like you can't play them all.
I love when people like take stands against us too with that, like. How could you say to fade Luka? Like all these studs are great plays. You can't play them all. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean this slate is loaded up. It has all this. Last night we had no studs. The studs are lining up on the same days. It seems like lately, where they're all playing the same night, and then the off nights there's just not many options. Assuming it'll get shuffled here. But when you have the Bucks playing, when you have the Nets playing, when you have the Nuggets playing, you have the Mavericks playing. Those are the four top studs. In the NBA for DFS purposes. Seems like they've been lined up quite a bit lately, but it will hopefully shuffle here pretty soon. All right, Big T, what do we do? 377.
We got just a little time here. We can start I don't know. Maybe we just shut them off.
Yeah, I mean, you got about I'm gonna do one more thing, and then if it's not well over the 400, just get the
hoop was behind you, so you could go shoot a hoop while we wait. Is it behind you?
I'm saving that for the weekend. I can't.
Or is it?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not in that location. But
that would be prime right now to see you go.
I wouldn't do it anyway. I'm next man in line for that basketball game. I'm not letting you guys see what I got.
Scout him on the mini hoop.
Yeah, I'm not. And by the way, those are pressure shots. I think I'm 3-0.
You've drained them all. I'll give you credit. You've stepped up and stuck them all for sure.
Yeah, those are some pressure shots. And
JB says, Big T, any love for Hardaway? Whew, definitely not.
We've been off those Mavs guys for a while. It's worked. I mean, it's really worked. Obviously, outside of Luka, he's the one guy that you can play, but those other guys not so much. Quick reminder: we still have that. Huh?
I was gonna say Clarence Brown said Big T went to a black barbershop. Absolutely. I always go to a barbershop with everybody. Everybody's welcome. That's what we do. Don't worry about it.
I might have to, when I come down there, I might have to get a nice little trim job.
I love that barbershop. Don't you worry about it. I love going there.
I want to go to that spa you go to. You take the boys to the spa?
Yeah, absolutely. We can go to the spa. What do you mean? Absolutely.
Where do you get your feet done? Where do you get your toes
in the street? Absolutely. Yeah. We can all
book us some appointments. Let's get lined up.
That would be great if we all just said that. If we got a picture with everyone, we might need to do that actually.
Yeah. I have never got one, and I've heard
we might have to do it. It might be on the agenda. Just the legendary.
See if you can rent out the place. Just say we want the place rented out for afternoon. We'll bring one of your 10 TVs with us, and we'll post up, watch the games, and get some service.
Could be I like that. I like
where do they offer the extra services there, or is above bar operation?
Can't confirm or deny.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Perfect. No more needs to be said. All right, we got over the number 420. We're nice people. We're gonna stay on here until you guys got over it. Title. Why don't you go? Actually, Big T. Why don't you give us the winner of the gear? And then title. While Big T's doing that, we're going to go to the SO play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, so I talked about him earlier. Jakob Poeltl, 5,600 on FanDuel, 5,900 on DraftKings. He's going to fall in that mid-tier range at center where he's going to be low-owned. People aren't going to click it. I love this matchup against Chicago where they're rolling out marketing at the 5. So I expect a big game. I trust Phallick's core or charts all the time. So I'm expecting a close game. They get their run in the fourth quarter, which we haven't seen. And Jakob Poeltl, SO play of the day, takes us home.
Love it. Great play. I do like Poeltl tonight. All right, now it's time for the 4X play of the day. And the 4X play of the day is going to be Mr. Jeff Green in that Nets-Pacers game. I think Jeff Green plays a lot of minutes and gets a lot of shots up tonight. And I actually like the matchup here against the Pacers. Big total in this one, 230. So give me Jeff Green for the 4X play of the day. All right, Big T, you got the gear winner for us?
Yeah, I mean, I scrolled up a little bit, but I realized I wanted to give it to my boy Clarence for talking about the barbershop, getting us thinking about it. Clarence Brown, you got the gear today, my man.
Awesome. Clarence, reach out to Big T on Twitter or send us a message, info@RunPureSports, and we'll get you some gear out soon. All right. The moment you've all been waiting for, Big T's workbench play of the day. Who do you got for us?
As I get into it, the best part too is yesterday, because I was on the late show with JSU, I actually watched the Hardwood show, maybe for the first, it might have been the first time I wasn't on it during the week since we've had NBA.
Yeah.
There might have been another, besides the week when I was just out, but Simon has music with the graphics. I didn't know music gets played with it.
Yeah, like it's a nice operation.
The SO play, I think there was like music breaking away or whatever it was. It might have the dry hump play or whatever. There was actual music. That was a nice touch. But tonight, I'm going back to the cheap well with the low-owned guy that I think he won't get much ownership at all. Back to it's a little risky. Back to the roots where the workbench play was created. But my man, Nicholas Claxton, going against Indiana. Athletic bigs against Indiana. If we can somehow get some more run pure like we've been running pure lately, and somehow DeAndre catches some foul trouble or something, and this guy can get in the 20s minutes-wise, he could get us 50 fantasy points. And he's 3,500, not a ton of risk. He's been getting consistently 16, 18 minutes. As long as he gets the 16 to 18, we're going to be fine. We'll get the 18 to 20 fantasy points, whatever it is. But if we can catch a little extended run, we're going to break the slate. And this is the matchup to do it. So give me Mr. Nicholas Claxton.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, I think he had big opportunity tonight, and he's capable of filling up the stat sheet. So I definitely like that play. Low owned for sure. Not many people have been on him at all. So love that call. All right, head on over to Run Pure Sports. They have promo codes HEATER25. JSU and Holden will be taking you up to lock on the final countdown, part of our premium package over there at Run Pure Sports. So head on over there, check it out. We're going to get on out of here. So for TitleTown, for Big T, I'm Hoop. Good luck tonight in your contest.
Good luck, everybody.